Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for joining me. Go ahead and come on in. We're gonna get started here in about 5 minutes. We got a lot of good stuff coming up. If you want 2022 to be different than what you've experienced this year or last year, if you're tired of the malaise and ready to kind of get some direction for your life, we're gonna get started and we're gonna cover all that and so much more in this webinar. So I see Marissa's on. That's awesome. Let me just see. Boy, we got a lot of people joining here. Go ahead and leave me a comment if you would. Whatever platform you're watching on, we're streaming on multiple platforms. We're on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, numerous Facebook pages, and so forth. First time we've really done this at this scale, so we're hoping and praying that it all works out great. But if you could go ahead and tell me where you're watching from. Hey, Scott, Yvonne. Both of you I can see are on Facebook. Fantastic. Good to see you guys. Where are you watching from? We're gonna get started here in just a few minutes. I want to give everybody a chance to get on, so that's why I started early. But we won't actually start into the content till the top of the hour. All right, Carol, Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Looks like you're watching on YouTube. Andrew in LinkedIn. Greetings from Australia. Dury from Melbourne, Australia. We always get a lot of people from Australia, which is awesome. Evan, Jason, Kim, Mark, Scott, Karen, Fur Baby, Derek, Mike. Good to see you guys. All right. Hey, somebody on my team, go ahead and try in the Restream chat app, try to favorite one of these comments, and let's just see that if it goes over there, and I could actually bring these on screen, okay? Just as a test. All right, in the meantime, here's what I want to ask you guys as we're just kind of, bantering back and forth a little bit here as we're warming up and getting ready. We're going to go live, or actually live, but we're going to start the content at the top of the hour. Right now, we're just getting acquainted. But were there any goals that you had for 2021 that you didn't accomplish? And if you don't mind, let's just pretend we're on the honest planet. Go ahead and share that in the comments wherever you're watching, whatever platform you're watching from. And I may occasionally call this chat because I'm used to doing this on Zoom, but it's not really chat where you're watching, right? It's a comment. So if you could tell me, was there a goal that you tried to accomplish this last year and just didn't quite make it? And if you could put just a little bit about that in the comment, that would be great. Hey, Lori, two-time Buy Live attendee. Yeah, and we're doing it again on the 30th of December. I'm going to tell you more about that in just a little bit, so stay tuned. All right, Jody said, getting on top of my finances. Yep. Hey, Jacob from Dallas. Awesome, guys. Mark, I see you're watching from Facebook. Got a lot of folks from on YouTube. Nathan said, oh boy, weight loss, passive income, writing, it was a terrible year. If you only knew how many times I've heard that. That has been pretty a common theme. I've talked to so many people that had a great 2020. For some people, their businesses exploded, to their surprise. But 2021's been more of a struggle. I don't know if it's because it's just been prolonged or what the deal is. But yeah, it's a challenge. Karen said saving 3 to 6 months emergency fund. Okay, let me ask you this question, guys. And this is going to help me give kind of some context to what I'm going to share tonight. But what were some of the specific challenges that held you back? Maybe it was time. Maybe it was just general lethargy or malaise or lack of energy. But what was it that held you back this year? Christopher said, biggest disappointment is weight loss and exercise. It's hard to find a motivation. Brother, I hear you. I struggled with that myself this year, especially the last 60 days. I got COVID myself. Even after being vaccinated, I got it in September, and that's been a real challenge for me as well. All right, let's see. Oh, Colleen, 6 months of chemotherapy. That had to be really tough, I'm sure. Okay, well, listen, we're going to go ahead and get started. Are you guys ready? Let me just go ahead and get a couple things in line here. I don't know why my screensaver wants to keep going on, but it does. I think I've got the cursor in the wrong spot here. I'll get it figured out. Okay, hey guys, welcome to this special training session. As you can probably see in the post from wherever you're watching, this is called Become Your Best in 2022, 7 Steps to the Life You Want. Now, one of the things I want to get squared away before we start, we've got a special workbook for today's training, and you can download that free at bestyouever.me/showup. You're going to want to download this because this has a place for you to take notes, and it's guided so that you've got something that you can leave this webinar today with. So again, bestyouever.me/showup. Once you've downloaded it, go ahead, print it out so you can have it handy. That'll ensure that the content we go through today really sticks so that you don't forget it. Because I really do think this is going to make a difference for you. Or better yet, if you stick around to the end, there's something that'll give you all the info without all the note-taking. So more on that in a minute. Okay, so we're about to get started. But before we get going, let's make sure that you're prepared to get the most from this training. And since we're talking about how you can become your best, that's our theme for tonight, right? I want to ask you to get ready to learn and give this training your full attention. You know the drill. Please silence your phone, close your email, mute Slack, any social media apps that you've got running. And this way you can really focus on the training without all the distractions. And if you think of questions during the training that you want me to answer later on, I'm going to be doing a special Q&A at the end of this training, and I'm going to be answering or taking your specific questions. So just enter those in the comment section of whatever platform you're watching from. I've got somebody from our customer experience team monitoring each one of those platforms. They will pick up your question, curate it for me, and then I'll be answering those at the end. So I can't wait to that. That's always a fun time. And by the way, guys, we're also offering some exciting bonuses just for showing up. So you're going to get the Habit Planner, how to turn your goals into daily habits. So, you know, leveraging habits is one of the most powerful tools to automate achievement. So I think you guys are going to find huge, huge value in this bonus. And you can download this at the same link as the workbook, which you just got a minute ago, right? bestyouever.me/showup. This link is on your screen right now. Second, if you stay to the end, we're going to give you a completed webinar workbook. That means all the answers are filled out and your note-taking's done. So if you commit to sticking with me, you can just sit back and absorb what I share about today without missing a thing. Now, before we get going, let's make sure you're in the right place. So what we're covering today is all about becoming your best in the new year. And it might be an approach that you haven't heard before. So let me ask you if one of these scenarios sounds like what you've experienced over the past 12 months. And after I'm done sharing them, I'm going to ask you to leave a comment telling me which of them resonated with you the most. So I want you to listen carefully. And if one of them I share resonates with you, you can go ahead and pop a comment in the platform where you're watching, or you can wait till the end, your choice. Okay, does this sound like you? You were busier than ever, but you're not quite sure what you accomplished. Or you had big goals, but you didn't achieve them. You're disappointed, and you really are wondering if goal setting is worth the effort. Or maybe this year was terrific, but it took a lot out of you. You're exhausted, and you aren't sure you can keep up the same pace in 2022. Or you struggle to find time for your most important priorities. The urgent issues seem to be always crowding out what's important. Or maybe you have tons of dreams, but you're just not sure where to start to make them reality. And your fear is that life is passing you by. Or maybe you had a fantastic year and you want to ensure your success continues into 2022. Well, if any of that sounds like you, you're in the right place. So I'm curious, which of those scenarios did you identify with the most? Let me know in the comments, and to be honest, you're not alone. There's lots of us that I'm sure are going through what you're going through. I'm just going to glance over here at the comments. Oh my gosh, tons of them coming through. Yeah, Kevin says, great workbook. Thank you so much. You can thank my team for that. Mary Beth said, yes, urgent issues keep pushing my goals off. Leslie said, all of the above. Jennifer said, didn't meet my work goals. Ron said, had big goals, but didn't get most of them done. Busy fighting fires. Guys, if that's you, you're not alone. You are in the right place. There's plenty of people here that have struggled with these issues as well. So again, at the end of our time together, we're going to have a Q&A session. So be sure to post your question or questions in the comments. Our team is collecting those. They will curate them, and I'll try to answer as many of them as I can at the end. Okay, so again, welcome to today's training. If you've just gotten on, this is called Become Your Best in 2022, 7 Steps to the Life You Want. Now, in case you're just joining us or you're new to our community, my name is Michael Hyatt, and I'm a New York Times, Wall Street Journal, USA Today bestselling author. I write about business leadership, goal achievement, productivity. I'm the former chair and the CEO of Thomas Nelson Publishers, one of the largest book publishing companies on the planet, now a division of HarperCollins. And I'm also the founder and chair of my own company, Michael Hyatt & Company, which Inc. magazine has featured as one of the 5,000 fastest growing companies in America for 3 of the last 4 years. And Inc. also named us, and I'm really proud of this, as one of America's top places to work in 2020 and again in 2021. But my favorite wins are at home. And I've been married to my beautiful bride, Gail, for 43 years, and she is actually manning one of the platforms and monitoring the comments there. So say hi to her if you're fortunate enough to be on the platform where she is. But together we've got 5 daughters, 3 sons-in-law, and 9 grandchildren, which with one on the way. And I just saw one of my son-in-laws and one of my grandsons come in for a piano lesson. They just walked in to the house as I'm sitting here in the back office. Regardless, figuring out how to reach my goals without sacrificing my family has been my single greatest achievement. And it wasn't easy, and it wasn't a straight line. There were 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. But a lot of what made that possible is what I'm going to be sharing with you tonight. So here's what to expect when you leave today's training. You're going to walk away knowing how to quit-proof your goals to make 2022 the year that you finally cross the biggest goals off your list. You'll know you can be your best, even when you're surrounded by uncertainty about the economy, the pandemic, or any other circumstances that are beyond your control. You're going to learn the actions that may seem contradictory to goal achievement, but that actually help you make the most progress. You're going to also find out, let me let my slides catch up here. You're going to find out why you need to embrace discomfort. And I know that one doesn't sound too exciting, but in a few minutes, you're going to see why it's so very important. I'll show you how to generate forward motion toward the life you want by using a simple way to track your progress. And then you're going to know how to spot sneaky false paths that trip up most would-be achievers. And these are goal-setting strategies that may seem helpful, but are likely sabotaging your efforts. And finally, you're going to walk away with a clear path to accomplishing what matters most. So let's kick this off with some stats that stood out to me regarding goal setting, because these are sobering. So in 2021, 74% of the people in the U.S. set goals for the new year. Maybe you were one of them. Of these goal setters, only 12% believed their goals were unrealistic. Now, here's what that means. The vast majority of these people, nearly 9 out of 10, believed their goals were reachable. Now, why did this catch my attention? I'll tell you why. Because 92% of the people who set goals for the new year failed to accomplish them. I mean, wow, just wow. So why am I sharing this? Because there's a gap between what many people believe they can do and what they actually achieve. And when they fall short, there are real consequences. So according to an article in the Harvard Business Review from earlier this year, which I just read, a person who overestimates their goals and fails to achieve them can be crushed. It shrinks their expectations about the future, and as a result, they end up setting their sights lower. And this means a person's belief about what is possible for themselves in the future takes a hit, a really big hit, and their dreams get a little bit smaller. And at some point, people simply give up trying. They stop dreaming, and that's tragic. So why does this happen? Well, part of the challenge is how people think about their goals. how they phrase them, how they pursue them. They're just not setting themselves up for success, and the results reflect that. No wonder they're disappointed. But here's the thing. It's not their fault. It's not your fault. They just don't know what to do. I mean, nobody's ever taught us, right? So today's training is going to put a stop to that once and for all. You're going to see a clear path to creating goals that are inspiring and that move you forward. You're going to be able to create goals with purpose, and you'll know exactly what to do to achieve them. Now, before we get into what needs to happen, let's just do a quick gut check. When you think back on your past goals, have you ever felt stuck? Like tires spinning in the mud, getting no traction no matter how much gas you gave the engine? Be honest with yourself. If you're going to break through anything that's been blocking your progress, it has to start with an honest self-assessment. So I saw several of you put this in the chat, but maybe it was a weight loss goal. You want to eat well, you want to exercise, you want to maintain a healthy weight, but life seems to always torpedo your efforts, from the busy workload that makes you miss your gym time to the birthday cake in the conference room. You know what I'm talking about. Or perhaps it's a relationship goal. Maybe you've let some friendships drift, or you're not spending as much time being social like you used to. And no wonder, it's been a pandemic. Or maybe you really want a deeper level of intimacy with your spouse or your kids or your significant other. But other priorities keep throwing you off. You worry that the people who matter the most are getting the short end of the stick, but you're not sure how to fix it. Or maybe it's a business goal. You dream of finally getting that promotion or launching that new business or taking your existing business to a new level of success. But the pandemic hangover, inflation, the general economic climate makes you unsure that you'll make much headway in 2022. So, look, we've all experienced the disappointment that comes from setting a goal and failing to achieve it. And we've all experienced the fear of trying again after so many failures. So if you're a little bit jaded about setting a new round of goals, especially this year, you're definitely not alone. But here's the flaw in that thinking. Yeah, if you set another round of goals, you might just fail to achieve them. But, and this is important, you're guaranteed to fail if you don't try. Have you heard of Wayne Gretzky, famous hockey player? He once said this: you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That's right. I'm going to take a sip of water. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Or to put it into the context of our training today, you'll only achieve what you intentionally pursue. Here's the other thing. You don't know how many opportunities you're going to get in life. You can't just keep putting your life on hold. For example, I came across this really sobering image that put everything in perspective. It's an illustration with a dot for every year of a person's life. So here's that image with 90 dots. That is your life. So the window of opportunity to create the life you want is brief, a lot briefer than we would like. If we work, for example, from age 20 to age 65, this is what that looks like. Not as much time as you think, right? Especially if you're in the middle of it. And if you want to start a family, or if you already have one, this is the sliver of time when the kids are at home. I mean, this one really stood out to me. The distance between a child's birth and adulthood, the time the kids live under the parents' roof, is minuscule when you look at a person's entire lifespan. And if we want to spend time with aging parents, here's the window. It's short, right? And if you don't live nearby, near your parents, and you only see them a couple times a year, what time does that leave with them? Let's just say, for example, that you got 10 years left, or they have 10 years left, and you see them 4 days a year. That means you only have 40 days left with your parents. Let that sink in. Look, I'm not sharing this as a downer. I'm sharing this as a wake-up call for all of us, for me included. We don't have unlimited time. We need to make the most of every moment. And whether it's spending time with loved ones or trying to achieve major milestones in our health, our careers, our finances, or any other areas that matter to us, we got to focus on the brevity of life. And that's where goals come in. They're the key to identifying those factors you can control and then making an intentional plan to achieve most of them. And this is something I know from my own experience. Back in 2005, which seems like eons ago now, I became the CEO of a major corporation with more than 750 employees. Now, by the grace of God, I successfully led that company through the Great Recession. Later, I led that same organization through massive changes in our industry, where thankfully we emerged on top. The stakes were high, but we made it through. And, this is the important part, I can say unequivocally, goals were the key to our success. Identifying what we could control, creating an action plan to deal with those areas, and accomplishing big results through those goals is what made us successful and separated us from the victims of our changing industry. And you know what? Fast forward to today, and as the founder and chair of a high-growth business, the key to our success hasn't changed. Focusing on high-leverage goals still determines what we achieve. It's still the driving force that keeps us moving forward. It's true for me. It's true for you. And it's true for every area of your life, whether it's your business, your marriage, your health, or any other area that really, really matters to you. Okay. So the fastest, easiest way to win is to set meaningful goals in areas that you can control and then get busy achieving them. So in Stephen Covey's leadership classic, which I'm confident that many of you probably read, I've read it several times myself, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he summarizes this concept with a really powerful diagram. So the outer circle is the circle of concern. These are the things that worry you, but that you don't have any control over. Things like the economy, politics, pandemics, lockdowns. But the inner circle is the circle of influence. These are the things you can control or at least influence. Things like your attitude, your words, your behavior, your family, your business, your health, and so forth. This circle encompasses those areas where you can create meaningful change. And when you focus on your circle of concern, you have less energy and less time to devote to your circle of influence. Now, I want you just to think about what that means. When you focus on things that are outside of your control, you're less able to influence the areas of your life that are within your control. But when you focus on those things you can influence and control, your energy and time isn't wasted. Your circle of influence expands. And the bottom line is this: you have agency. You have the power to keep your life and business moving forward no matter what is going on in the world around you. You just need a strategy, right? To create and achieve high impact goals, goals that matter to you. And that's why in this training, I'm going to outline 7 steps to the life you want. It really is possible for you to reach the end of 2022 feeling like you've won the game. And today I'm going to show you how. So I want to ask you one thing before we get started. And that's, I want you to suspend disbelief. So if you're a little bit skeptical, if maybe you're a little bit cynical, you're not quite sure that you're willing to step into the arena again and set goals, I want you to suspend disbelief, hang with me, and be open. You might be surprised. Okay. So one of the most commonly asked questions about goal setting is this: what goals should I set? And the key to answering that question is step number 1. Clarify your priorities. So the easiest way to get clear on your own priorities is to begin with the end in mind. Something else I learned from Stephen Covey. This kind of clarity will bring focus and power to your planning. So I want you to ask yourself 3 questions as you begin to do this. At the end of my life, what will I want to have achieved? Good question, right? Begin with the end in mind. What will I regret not doing? And then finally, what will matter most to me? And are you giving yourself to those things now? So clarifying your priorities helps you avoid one of the most common goal-setting mistakes. You know what it is? Tunnel vision. It's easy to get tunnel vision when we're setting goals and focus on only one aspect of our lives. And you may have done this before. I certainly have. But how many times have you made a list of 10 goals that you want to achieve in the next year in your career or business without considering your health or your most important relationships, I should say? The truth is that we're interconnected beings. Our relationships at home impact the focus we bring to work. Our physical health impacts the energy that we have for those aspirational projects like writing a book or learning a new skill or pursuing a promotion. So in order to be effective, our goals must address each of the major domains of life. And to ensure our goals represent all the main areas, I like to picture these life domains in 3 circles. First of all is the circle of being. This is you in relationship to yourself. It includes your spiritual life, your physical life, emotional and intellectual life. Then there's the circle of relating. This is you in relationship to others. If you're married, it's your marital life, your social life, your parental life if you have kids. Then finally, there's this circle of doing. This is you in relationship to the world out there. It's your vocational life, what you do for a career, your financial life, even your avocational life. And by that, I just mean your hobbies, the things that are not your vocation, but are your interest. Now, you're going to want to make sure that your goals address your priorities within each of these 3 circles. You don't need to address every single domain, but you got to have some balance there. And that brings us to our first action item. And I'm going to give you one of these for each of our steps. Action step number 1. Take a few moments and list 7 to 10 of your top priorities over the next year. You don't have to do it right now. In fact, I would recommend you don't do it right now, but write it down. Take a few minutes, list 7 to 10 of your top priorities over the next year, and make sure the list reflects both personal and professional priorities. And try to spread them out among those 3 circles. Now, which of these areas needs some work next year? Okay? So as you think about your priorities, which of these do you just kind of intuitively know, have got to get some attention this next year? I'm going to take a drink of water. I'm going to look at the comments, and you tell me what you think. Go ahead and just pop it as a comment. It'll show up like a chat for me as I look over here at this window. All right. It always takes like about 20 seconds for these to start showing up. Okay. So Troy said, a well-balanced life is on my number 1. Gail, that is my wife. I love it when she's on. She says, health is number 1 for me. Another Facebook user said spiritual. Kamal said health. Jason, my body. Kamal said family. Yeah, these are pretty common among all of us. Clark also said my health. A lot of people interested in improving their health. Cindy said the same thing watching on Facebook. All right, great. Okay, let's go to step 2. You guys ready? Okay, step number 2 is this. You want to write smarter goals. Now, before I share the smarter goal framework, let's clarify that we're not talking about New Year's resolutions. Oh man, I mean, most of us have tried those, right? And I think we can all agree that for the most part, resolutions just don't work. And the stats make this clear. And our own experience confirms it. And by the way, it's well documented in the goal achievement research, which, get this, it says more than 80% of people who set New Year's resolutions give up on them before the end of January. That's right. And less than 10% are ultimately successful. In fact, most of us stop making resolutions altogether because we failed so many times in the past. The problem is this: resolutions are not goals. Those are 2 different things. So when I talk about goals, I'm talking about a written statement that follows the smarter goal setting framework. It's what I teach in my popular course, Your Best Year Ever. Now, you may be familiar with the SMART goal setting framework. It was developed by General Electric back in the 80s. That's where I first encountered it. But the acronym stands for the 5 elements of a well-crafted goal. They got to be specific, they got to be measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-bound. And while my SMARTER method has its roots in General Electric's basic framework, there are 3 important updates that I think make my framework more successful. And we've had over almost 50,000 students go through my course, and I think they would attest that this is more effective. For example, based on the latest goal achievement research, setting realistic goals is just about the worst thing you can do for achievement. Believe it or not, making your goals realistic makes you less likely to achieve them. The best goals are risky, not realistic. Risky goals ignite your creativity. They inspire your best thinking. They provoke your best effort until you achieve them. So here's the full SMARTER Goals framework. And based on the latest goal achievement research, I've made 2 additions, in addition to the correction, but 2 additions to SMART, the final E and the R. Okay? So the E in SMARTER stands for exciting. If a goal isn't exciting to you personally, you're going to quickly lose interest or give up when the going gets tough. So you got to ask yourself, is the goal personally exciting to me, or am I doing this for some other person or for some other reason that just doesn't get me excited? Now, goals also need to be relevant. And that's the last R in the SMARTER framework. Goals have got to be relevant to where you are in life. And this is important so that you don't get overwhelmed. For example, learning to become an expert fly fisherman when you've just embarked on a new career might not be the best idea. Those goals might be in conflict with each other. Or how about this one? Building your collection of designer shoes might not make sense if you're also trying to become debt-free. Or getting your pilot's license might not make sense if you've just had your first baby. But goals written using the SMARTER framework help you fit goals that are right for the current season of life that you're in. And I promise you, with all the hundreds of people that we have on tonight, you are in many different life stages. The goals that would be relevant to me as an empty nester are not going to be relevant to those of you who are young parents, right? And again, I want to emphasize these goals need to be written. A goal that is not written down is not a goal. It's just a dream. And here's why. For one, writing down your goals forces you to clarify your thinking. When you hold an idea just in your brain, it's fluid. It's flexible. It isn't concrete. So in the context of the SMARTER framework, unless you write down a goal, it might not be anything more than a dream or a notion. But we won't know until we force ourselves to flesh that goal out on paper so that it includes each element of the SMARTER framework. So writing clarifies thinking. Another reason to write down your goals is that it makes goal achievement more likely. Okay, pay attention to this. This is a big deal. So Dr. Gail Matthews at Dominican University recruited 267 professionals from several different countries. And she divided them into 5 different groups and she tracked them over several weeks. And here's what she discovered, among other things, that the mere act of writing down your goals boosted goal achievement by 42%. Did you get that? 42%. And that certainly gels with my own experience and that of the people I coach. So write your goals down. Action step number 2. Go through the exercise of jotting down what each letter of the SMARTER acronym stands for. Memorize it. Next, think about some past goals that really mattered to you, but that you didn't achieve. How could you have adapted them using the SMARTER framework? I promise you, a goal well conceived is a goal half achieved. So if you get it in the right format, it's going to be an enormous help in terms of goal achievement, because the goal isn't to set goals. The goal is to achieve goals. Okay, so now we've defined how to create powerful goals, and this leads us to a place where most people find themselves uncomfortable, and that sadly keeps many of them from living their best lives. And I'm talking about step 3, embrace discomfort. Now, before we get into the details of this step, I want to spend a few minutes just talking about endurance runners, okay? Now, I'm somebody, I wouldn't consider myself an endurance runner, but I've run several half marathons. And I have a huge respect for runners who run a full marathon, 26.2 miles. And I can't even imagine running some of those ultra marathons where athletes churn out, 50 miles, 100 miles, sometimes more. Or what about those crazy Ironman triathlons where they run a marathon and then swim a couple of miles and then bike over 100 miles? I mean, that is crazy. But whether we're talking about a classic marathon, an ultra, or an Ironman, there's a phenomenon that can literally stop these amazing athletes in their tracks before they reach the finish line. And I've experienced it myself, and if you're a runner, you may have too, but I'm talking about hitting the wall, the dreaded wall. So even if you're not a runner, you probably know what I mean. You've probably even used the term. For most of us, we say we've hit a wall when we're mentally done with an activity, or we just don't have it in us to keep going. And for distance athletes, it's similar, but it's a very real physical and psychological phenomenon to distance athletes. So when a distance athlete hits a wall, they're flooded with negative thoughts, with pain, with exhaustion to the point that it becomes overpowering. And runners feel this overwhelming desire to slow down. And it's hard for them to focus. They want to start walking or even quit. And serious runners know this. And as a result, many will enlist someone to jump in and run with them at the point that they hit the wall so that they can push through. Now, not all runners hit a wall during a race, but when they do, it can completely derail them. So Dr. Alistair McCormick, an exercise psychologist, said, a marathon becomes a real mental battle when runners hit the wall. So as we strive to accomplish big goals, especially goals that have remained on our list for years without success, we can hit a similar wall along with our own mental battles. We start to doubt. We lose focus. We wonder if we've got the energy to make it this year and be able to cross that goal off our list. And when it comes to goal achievement, I like the term that Scott Belsky uses when describing the period when we start losing steam. And he wrote a whole book on this, but he calls it the messy middle. And for runners, they usually hit this wall somewhere between miles 19 and 21. And for achievers trying to reach important goals, we're going to hit that wall usually somewhere in the second or the third quarter of the year. Maybe sooner. So let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced the messy middle. That feeling when you're too far in to quit, but not close enough to feel like you have what it takes to finish. Okay, I'm going to give you just a minute to respond. I want to make sure you guys are still with me. Russell said, full marathons take such a long time. Mindset is so important. He's watching on YouTube. Yeah. Marissa said, oh my gosh, yes. Yosiam said, what does SMARTER stand for? I'll get one of my team to post that in the comments for you. Yeah, Scott says Messy Middle is a great book. It is. Amber said, I'm definitely found that to be true in my career. Cindy, yes, 2 this year. Leslie, absolutely. Carrie, Messy Middle is my middle name. That's awesome. Okay, so just like these athletes that find creative ways to avoid or push through the wall, we can get through the messy middle. You can too. The key is perseverance. Some people call it grit, others call it tenacity, or a stick-to-it mentality. But whatever you call it, I'm talking about a mindset where we keep taking action toward our goals despite our doubts, the obstacles we encounter, or the difficulties we face. And let's be honest, perseverance isn't easy. I mean, it can be a real grind to keep pushing in the face of opposition, whether it's mental or otherwise. So I want to share with you a few tips to help you persevere if the messy middle hits you hard. First, and this is going to sound trite, but believe in yourself. Believe that you can accomplish your goals, whatever the obstacle. That's crucial. For you to accomplish hard things, and you can, you got to believe that you're up to the challenge. You got to take control of that inner narrator that's telling you it's not possible, right? You got to take control of your self-talk. You got to convince yourself that you've got what it takes. This is key. Because when you believe you have what it takes, obstacles and hardships won't sink you. Your belief drives you to look for new approaches to the problem. And sometimes you just have to repeat that to yourself, even though initially you don't believe it, right? We have a sign in the kitchen, Gail and I, that says, don't believe everything you think. Yeah, so just because it's an idea in your head doesn't mean you have to believe it, let alone act on it. The second step in developing perseverance is to identify your why. I'm going to have more to say about that in just a minute. Third, create goals. Now, we've already talked about this, so we're not going to spend any more time here. But then fourth, measure and track your progress. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on steps 2 and 4 here, and you're going to see why in just a minute. But the point is, when you're striving forward or toward important goals, we all experience hitting a wall eventually, and the key is to persevere in the face of it. So here's your action step number 3. The messy middle is lurking out there, ready to trip you up on your journey to create your best life. And usually, as I said before, it's going to hit you in the second or the third quarter, and so you've got to practice building a mindset that can persevere and withstand the messy middle's assault. But here's the thing. If you expect it, you can defeat it. Part of the problem is we launch the year with this sense of adrenaline, and we don't think it's going to happen. We think we're bulletproof. And then we're disappointed when we hit the messy middle. But if you expect it, it's a little easier. So let's just pause for a minute here. How you guys doing? Let me know in the comments if you're still with me while I grab another sip of water. I know this could be a lot to take in, so hang tight. You guys are doing great. But if you're still with me, type yes in the comments. Kara said absolutely. Thank you, Kara. I just wait for these comments to roll in. I got to know you guys are with me, right? And so I'm just going to look at the chat here for just a second. All right, Kamal said great. Shannon says yes. Carrie, doing great. Thank you, Michael. Kim said yes. Shannon said yes. Clark, yes. Dave, yes. George, yes. Laura. Okay, they're scrolling too fast for me to read. Okay, I just want to remind you guys again, if you stay with us until the end, you're going to get a free completed webinar workbook. So if you're having trouble taking notes and keeping up, I know it's like drinking from a fire hose, just stay until the end and you're going to have the workbook notes completed for you. That's the easy, smart way to do it. And as we continue, remember to enter any questions into the comments and we'll get to those in the Q&A session. Okay, let's dive back in. So we just talked about step 3, embracing discomfort. Now it's time for step number 4, identify your why. Now, I mentioned this as one of the ingredients of a persevering mindset, right? So I want to dive into it a little bit deeper now. This step is vital because many of us are asking ourselves, how can I stay motivated? Because that's kind of what killed me in 2021. How can I stay motivated in 2022? And we all worry, all of us, about our motivation giving out. Because when we got it, things are easy, right? We can sail right through. But when we lose it, everything is hard. And it's easy to have passion and enthusiasm when you first start pursuing a goal. But for many of us, that motivation wanes as the year goes on. I mentioned half marathons and marathons, and I can remember standing on the start line with 35,000 people. And I mean, the adrenaline, the energy was palpable. But get to the messy middle, people are dropping like flies. You know, nobody's excited. Everybody's just trying to finish. Then it picks up at the end when people start crossing the finish line. But that middle part, that's just the messy middle we just talked about. And it usually happens because we set a goal that's just not compelling, a goal that doesn't move us. And the truth is that, and listen to me, no one perseveres unless they care. So to maximize your persistence, we have to pursue goals that really matter to us. So think about parenting. That's a tough one. Or getting fit or hitting a major professional goal. All of these challenges will test our perseverance. The trick is to connect with what's at stake. And I want to quote my wife, Gail. She always says, people lose their way when they lose their why. People lose their way when they lose their why. I love that. So you got to ask yourself, why does it matter? If you don't have a clear, compelling answer to that question, there's no way you'll have the conviction you need to stick it out through the messy middle. When you pursue a meaningful goal, it's exhilarating. Accomplishing it, even better. But you're going to short circuit when you choose a goal that's not meaningful to you. And there are 4 attributes of compelling goals. So it's just kind of a little way for you to check to make sure that the goal is compelling. So compelling goals are spiritually meaningful, intellectually stimulating, emotionally energizing, or physically challenging. And if you're not hitting at least one of those criteria, you're setting yourself up to fail. So, action step number 4, take a moment now, actually not now, let's do it later, to list 3 reasons why each goal you set matters to you. It'll give you the energy you need to stick with your goals through the messy middle and finish. Now, beyond the messy middle, there's another obstacle that can trip people up as they try to create the life they want. And I'm talking here about overwhelm. Now, you'd be surprised at how often overwhelm keeps people from winning with their biggest goals. In fact, in a poll of our VIP users of our goal-setting course, your best year ever, we asked them to identify the biggest hangups that derailed their goals in the past. The response, and see if this resonates with you, overwhelm, yes, overwhelm. When we try to do too many things at once, we risk accomplishing nothing. And that's why the next step is so important. And that's step number 5, narrow your focus. Guys, this may seem simple, but it's gold. And I know it can be tough, but you've got to narrow your focus. When we get down to the business of improving our lives, a lot of the things that come to mind, we think of all these things that need some work, right? And that's why it's tempting to set a ton of goals. You know, we have weight loss goals and spiritual goals and intellectual goals and marital goals and all this stuff. And it's really tempting to set a ton of them. But productivity studies show that you really can't focus on more than 7 to 10 items at a time. So what does that mean? When we jot down 25 things we hope to accomplish this year, what we're really doing is sabotaging our aspirations. And the same is true when we try to cheat by nesting several goals beneath a broader goal. I may or may not have done this in the past. For example, setting a vague goal to get healthy, followed by a list of sub-goals that include lose weight, drink more water, get more sleep, work out 4 times a week, eat better, sit less, cut out the fast food, get a personal trainer, etc., etc., etc. And this is a recipe for overwhelm. And by the time you get 10 of these complicated nested lists that are competing for your attention, it's no wonder that you lose focus and why you don't accomplish anything. As the ancient Chinese proverb says, the man who chases 2 rabbits catches neither. So the key is to get crystal clear on your most important priorities. Set a goal for each of them and pursue them until they're completed. You want to focus on a handful of goals that you could repeat almost from memory. And my rule of thumb is that you should set no more than 8 goals for the year with a max of 2 to 3 goals per quarter. That's it. And if you're familiar with my body of work and what I've written about on goal achievement or taught in the past, this has changed because I used to say 8 to 12. And with more experience and more goal achievement research, now we've reduced that to 8. It just makes more sense. Focused effort in one direction is way more powerful than scattered effort in 100 directions. Because by getting laser focused on just a few goals, you can make quick, massive headway rather than slow, incremental progress. So set no more than 8 goals for the year, but choose just 2 to 3 to focus on each quarter. It's enough. You've got the rest of your life to maintain, and a goal by definition is outside the whirlwind or the busyness of your life, and you just can't take on too much. Once those are accomplished, move on to the others. Okay, you guys ready for action step number 5? Choose 2 or 3 goals to start with. Maybe just identify the ones you're going to pursue in the first quarter of 2022. That's it. That's your action item. Choose just 2 or 3 goals that you'll focus on first. Now, once you've got a focused list of goals, your next question is probably this. So, how do I get started? The answer is this. Step number 6, determine next steps. The biggest obstacle that gets in the way of getting started and creating the life we want is, ready for it? Procrastination. In fact, those are kind of a double-headed eagle, demonic eagle, between overwhelm and procrastination. It's easy to put things off when you feel overwhelmed. And that's the real problem with overwhelm. And to the extent that the project is something big, something you've never attempted before, it's easy to push the pause button and not get started. But high achievers know that procrastination is the real enemy. They've learned that excessive planning is often just a fancy way to procrastinate. Am I right or am I right? That's why high achievers break projects down into bite-sized pieces. Now, it's important to set goals, but that's not enough. Eventually, you're going to have to lace up your shoes and get on the track. And that's going to be how it is for you, and it's how it is for me. If you want to achieve big things, you got to start. And make getting started less intimidating by chunking down those big goals into little bite-sized pieces. Making those tasks small enough that they can be done in less than a day or a few days at the most. That's going to help you to build confidence, build excitement, and gain the momentum you need to carry you through all the way to the end. Most importantly, you're going to be taking action. And high achievers focus on the next step. They don't get distracted by trying to figure out the whole plan. Now, if you think about it, if your goal's in the discomfort zone, you're not going to know the whole path. You've never done it before. It's a little bit risky. So just focus on the next few steps. High achievers also know that the path becomes clear only when they're in motion. I like how Zig Ziglar said this. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Isn't that a great quote? So trying to figure out the complete process that you're going to use to accomplish something when you haven't even started will paralyze you. Focusing on the next right step is the key to building forward momentum. Focus on the next right step. Remember, the most important step is always the next step. So here's your action item. Action item number 6. Identify one next action item for each goal. That's it. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. What's the next step? That should give you enough to get you moving with each of your goals. Okay. Now, once you get moving, once you start knocking out these goals, you may be wondering, how can I maintain momentum? And the answer is our final step. Step number 7, track your progress. You know, one of the most fatal mistakes that people make with goal setting is failing to keep their goals visible. Think about it. How many times have you written down a set of goals and never looked at them again? And I've done it plenty of times. And that's why you need a plan to keep them visible. Whether that means reviewing them daily, weekly, or at some other designated regular interval. As the old adage says, out of sight, out of mind, right? Think about how many things demand your attention each day. If you only offer your goals the time, the attention, the focus you've got left over, you're never going to make meaningful progress. And that's why you need a clear plan to keep your goals visible. So I can remember back when I was writing my first book, which was about 22 years ago, I literally read my goal out loud at the beginning of each day. I also reviewed what was at stake. I tried to exercise faith by visualizing the goal as if it were completed. And I had to do this because I wanted to quit almost every day. And reconnecting to the dream and why it was important took the tedium out of daily writing. And it gave me purpose and meaning. And it kept me going when I wanted to quit. And now, since that time, I've written about 12 books. Every time, it's the same challenge. I've got to keep the goal visible. Now I keep a framed list of my goals on the wall in my office. My daughter, Marissa, who's monitoring the chat on one of these platforms, keeps hers posted on a refrigerator. The bottom line is that your goals have got to stay in sight in order to stay in mind. So determine how you're going to track your goals and how you're going to keep them visible. And by the way, you can certainly use a planner that's designed for this. And in fact, the Full Focus Planner, which we produce, is great for this. But any other device, whatever it takes, whatever is comfortable for you, you can print them out and tape them on the wall next to your desk. So you're always looking at them. But whatever you use, make sure to do it. Tracking your progress and keeping your goals visible is perhaps the most critical of all these steps to ensure your success. Okay, so you guys still with me? All right, awesome. Okay, let's recap what we've covered so far. So tonight we've covered 7 steps to the life you want in 2022. Step number 1 was clarify your priorities. Step number 2, write smarter goals. Step number 3, embrace discomfort. Step number 4, identify your why. Step number 5, narrow your focus. Step number 6, determine next steps. And then step number 7, track your progress. All right. Again, you guys still with me? If you're still with me, type yes in the chat. I'm going to give you just a few seconds to do that. I'm going to get another sip of water. My mouth is really dry tonight. Hope you guys understand. Michelle says, I wanted to say I love your planner. Thank you so much. Christopher says, yes. Jenny, Brandy, Marin, Donna, Mary, David, all of you are still with me. Great. If you're good, I'm good. Okay. So we've covered a ton today, and we're not done yet. And if you missed anything, or you need to clarify any of what we've talked about, you're going to have a chance to ask questions in a few short minutes. So hang tight. And if you think of a question, or even more than one question, remember to enter it in as a comment, and we'll get to it at the end. My team is working on that now, curating all your comments and putting them into some kind of logistical order so that I can answer at the end. So with the 7 steps we just covered, you've got a great foundation to help you understand what matters. You know the mindset you need to reach the most important goals. You know why you want those goals, and you have an idea of how to track them, and that you need to focus on the next best step. But we're on the threshold of a new year, right? And no matter what's going on around you, a new year is a new opportunity. I love New Year's. And as we learned earlier when we talked about the circle of influence, the most important things in life are things that you can actually improve, the things that are in your circle of influence. And it's easy to get discouraged or anxious about the new year when you're focused on things that are in your circle of concern beyond your control. But if you'll focus on those key areas where you've got influence, you could create in 2022 a truly incredible year. So I'd like you to take a moment to imagine what a win might look like for you in 2022. Imagine what it would be like if you took control of 2022 and you reached December the 31st of next year, knowing you'd accomplished what really, really mattered most. For example, what would it be like to be in the best shape of your life? What if you could lose those extra pounds, whether it's 5 or 20 or maybe even 90 pounds? Imagine yourself 1 year from now putting on the jeans that you're wearing right now, but they don't fit. You're swimming in them. How awesome would that feel? Or what would it be like to get to the end of 2022 having read a couple dozen books? Think of the new ideas you'd be exposed to. Think of how much more valuable you'd be to your business. Think of how much more interesting you'd be at cocktail parties. Or what would it be like to really take your most significant relationship to the next level? So just imagine a level of intimacy that you've never known before. Imagine a relationship where you couldn't wait to spend time with your spouse or your significant other. Imagine knowing and being known, understanding and being understood with someone who shared your most important priorities, your most significant goals, and offered you the encouragement and the support that others only dream of. Here's another one. What would it be like to have money left over at the end of the month? Think what it might be like to be debt-free, owing nothing to anyone. Think what it would be like to have the money you need to meet your expenses, protect yourself against the unexpected, and invest for the future. And think how satisfying it would be to give your family the things that they want and deserve. So let's go back to the very beginning when you decided to get on this live stream, right? I don't know why you got on. Why did you? I'll bet it was for one of the following reasons. You want to become your best in 2022. You want to live the life you want, a life that matters and fulfills your potential. But there's just so much to do and too little time, right? The important things keep falling through the cracks. You know deep inside you're capable of more, but it feels like time is running out. You don't want to just survive. You want to make meaningful progress towards something that matters. So there was a reason why you were attracted to this training, why you hopped on and why you're still here. It's a clue. It really is. So whether you're a spiritual person or not, to me, it's always interesting how things tend to show up right when you seem to need them, right? Well, could this be one of those moments for you? Maybe there's something big in your future, but you've come to a crossroads and now you've got to decide what you're going to do. And the way I see it, you basically got three choices. You could just give up and assume things will never change. And you might be right about that. On the other hand, you could continue to go it alone, hoping to get better results. Or, third option, you could let me help you get better results by using a proven system. And it really comes down to this question. Do you have the time to figure it all out on your own? What's the opportunity cost of putting your life on hold again this next year and not achieving your goals? With what we've covered today, you could make significant progress on your goals in 2022. I really believe that. With a persevering mindset, knowing your why, and all the other steps I covered, you could make more progress than ever before on the goals that have eluded you. For some of you, that may be fine. But for others, maybe you need a little bit more help. And remember that I'm going to be doing a Q&A in a few minutes, so you can ask me questions then or now as they occur to you in the comments. But if you need more help, I'd like to share a way for you to have all the help you need to make 2022 a highlight year. And I've got a special, proven resource I'd like to share with you, but I want to be respectful and I want your permission first. So is it okay if I talk about that resource? If you want to hear about it, I want you to say yes, type yes in the comments. And if I get enough, I'm going to tell you about it. Okay? So I'm looking here at the comments now. We're going to give them a second to roll in. I could use another glass of water or drink of water. Glass of water? That may be trouble. Okay, Paula said yes. Excellent. Susan, yes. Cindy, go for it. Ron, yes. David, yes, please. Mary, yes. Frank, yes. Natalie, yes. Okay, now they're scrolling back by faster than I can read. Okay, guys. Awesome. Let's do it then. Okay, we got lots of yeses. I feel like I got your permission, but I want to say this before I share this resource with you. I understand how hard goal achievement can be. I faced the same challenges that you face, including the overwhelming demands of a large family. Remember, I raised 5 girls and a growing career that never seemed to leave time for anything else. Here's the bottom line. The struggle is real. If you've tried and failed to set goals or you keep getting derailed as you work to achieve them, congratulations. You're normal. You don't need to feel guilty about it. The problem is that the process is simply broken. What you need is a better way, a different strategy. And that's why I developed Your Best Year Ever. This course and event is exactly what you need to reach your potential in 2022. It's not just about setting goals for next year. It's about discovering a powerful process for identifying the right goals and using a proven plan to actually accomplish them. But before we get into the course details, I'd like to give you a quick reminder that to thank you for staying on this training until the end, I'm going to give you a copy of the completed webinar workbook, if I can say that right. That means you're going to have the cliff notes of what we've covered today so that you can refer to it later. And it's yours for staying with us for just a few more minutes until we reach the Q&A. And we got that coming up here in just a few minutes. So if you've got any questions, go ahead and put those in the comments. I want to get to as many of those as I possibly can. Okay. So what is Your Best Year Ever? Here's how I define it. It's a goal achievement course and an event that gives you the clarity, courage, and commitment you need to finally achieve your biggest dreams. And here's the cool part. It takes just 45 minutes a day, or 5 days on your own, or 1 day with me if you join the live event. Now, since we introduced this course, we've had almost 50,000, if you can believe it, 50,000 achievers go through it. Those are people like Kim Gowdy, who just published her first book. And she wrote to us and she said, "Thank you for your encouragement and support. It's definitely been my best year ever." Or Kelly Gore, founder of iBloom, who said, quote, "As a direct result of your best year ever, I was able to lose 39 pounds. I've also tripled my take-home pay." Or Steve Anderson, author of the best-selling book, The Bezos Letters, who said, "One of my biggest goals was to write and publish a book. It was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. Because of your best year ever, I was able to achieve the goal." So the focus of the course is on effective action. And this isn't some huge, exhausting curriculum that takes weeks or months to complete. You know what I'm talking about. Your best year ever is a simple, step-by-step framework that sets you up to win over the next 12 months. And it takes a minimum investment of time to complete. Now, before getting into what's in the course, you might be asking yourself, how does it work? Now, if I think about the success I've enjoyed in my career and my personal life, I can attribute most of that success to the best year ever goal setting or goal achievement framework. Over the course of my career, through research, experimenting, self-testing, I've discovered what works and what doesn't when it comes to teaching people how to tackle goal achievement. And here's what I found. 3 things. First, it's got to be concise. People are already busy. They don't need dozens of course modules and hours upon hours of training. That wouldn't ease someone or comfort someone who's already overwhelmed. Second, for some reason, my slides aren't firing here. Let me see if I can do it this way. Give me just a second, guys. There we go. Boom. Not sure what happened, but it got stuck. Second, it's got to be simple. There are so many productivity systems that are overly complicated, causing people to give up before they get any real traction from their efforts. You don't need, and I don't need, more complexity in your life, right? You need simplicity. And third, it really needs to be science-based. When I look at the field of goal-setting advice, and there's a ton of it this time of year, I'm amazed by how much of it doesn't stand up to scientific scrutiny. At best, much of it's a waste of your time. It won't help you produce the results you want. And at worst, it's completely wrong and will actually impede your progress. But your best year ever is designed with all 3 of these ideas in mind. Now, you can complete the course in about half a day on your own. And when you do, you're going to walk away with a clear, simple roadmap for your next 12 months. Or, and this is the fun part, you can attend our 1-day live workshop and set all of your goals with me for this next year at one time. So more on that in a second. So I want to give you an inside look at the kind of content that you can expect. If you've never been through this, here's what you can expect. So lesson 1, step 1, believe the possibility. Look, belief is the foundation of your best year ever. When you've got belief, your goals, your dreams, your ambitions are possible. And in this lesson, you're going to discover the 3 truths about your beliefs that you've got to absorb to make your best year ever possible. You're going to discover the limiting beliefs that keep 99% of people stuck and how to blast through them like a champ. You'll learn the 6 simple steps that will enable you to overcome the roadblocks that are between where you are right now and where you want to be at the end of next year. Lesson 2, step 2, complete the past. You know, sometimes the past can be an anchor around our necks. It can keep us from moving forward. And with what we've all been through over the last 18 months, this is especially important. So in this lesson, I reveal a robust 4-part framework that helps you process your experiences over the past year, whether they were good, bad, or more likely, mixed. You're going to discover why your most significant opportunity in 2022 could be the experience that caused you the most regret, and how you can make that mental shift. And then you're going to learn how to keep your experiences from sabotaging your future. The last thing you want is to drag the worst of your past into the best of your future. Lesson 3, step 3, design your future. this is my favorite part. Here's where you start building your plan for the new year. And in this lesson, you're going to discover exactly how to transform those vague ideas and aspirations into specific goals that thrill and inspire you. You're going to learn about a research-backed goal-setting strategy and tactics, including a deep dive into my proprietary Smarter Goal Framework, way beyond what we're able to cover in this webinar tonight. We're going to deliver all the details that kind of make up the secret sauce behind achieving even your most difficult, most vexing goals. Then you're going to discover tips and tricks for optimizing your goals so that you're more likely to achieve them. Lesson 4, step 4, find your why. Now, when there's a strong emotional tie to your goals, you're way more likely to take action to achieve them. So in this lesson, we cover the difference between external and internal motivation and why internal motivation is 10 times more potent than external motivation. You're going to discover the specific actions you can take to tap into a powerful flow of personal motivation. You don't need something external. You've got it in here. You just got to tap into it. You're going to discover how to make your goals quit-proof and how you can use this strategy to stay motivated over the long haul. And then finally, lesson 5, step 5, make it happen. This is where everything comes together. It's where the rubber meets the road. And in this lesson, you're going to discover the secret to defeating both overwhelm and procrastination so you can start taking back your future now. You're going to learn how to turn the goals and plans you've created into simple, straightforward actions that ensure you make steady, consistent progress toward achieving your goals. Then I'm going to reveal the small hinges that swing big doors and set you up to accomplish all your goals in 2022. Plus, this year, we've got a bonus lesson. And that bonus lesson is called Using Your Planner to Achieve Your Goals. I know a lot of you that are on here tonight are Full Focus Planner users, and this year we've added this exclusive bonus lesson that shows you how to avoid being overwhelmed by goals and then using your planner to execute against those goals so you can actually achieve your dreams. You're going to discover the practical steps to break down your goals into sizable action items that you can record right in your planner. You're going to have an actionable plan to keep momentum on your goals every day, every week, every month, every quarter. And you'll see how to keep your goals visible and tied to daily action. Now, in addition to that, you're also getting a downloadable workbook and action plan, 24/7 access from anywhere. You can even watch or listen on the go via the Teachable iOS app. That's the platform that we use to deliver the course. And you're going to get a whole year of access to the program so that you can listen now or take a refresher at any point in the year. So, who is your best year ever course for? Well, I can honestly say almost everyone. After 50,000 people, almost everyone. First of all, achievers, you know who you are. Anyone who refuses to settle for less than they know is possible. Entrepreneurs and small business owners. Corporate leaders, including CEOs, CFOs, C-suite executives, and mid-level managers. Ministry leaders, including pastors, church staff, denominational executives, or anyone working in a nonprofit volunteer organization. Public servants, including elected officials, political appointees, and military personnel. Educators, including administrators, deans, principals, professors, teachers, homeschooling parents. Did I leave anybody out? Students, including those in high school, college, or even graduate students. And then stay-at-home moms and dads. So, in short, it's for anyone who wants to make 2022 their best year ever, whether in their professional life, their personal life, hopefully both. Okay, so we've shared who this course works best for, but who should stay away? Who is this course not for? Okay, and I want to talk about 3 groups of people. It's not for people who are looking for the magic goal achievement easy button. That's not how real change happens. It takes time. You got to be willing to commit to 12 months of action if you want to get extraordinary results. And the system itself doesn't take that much time to set up, doesn't take much time to maintain, but you got to invest a small amount of time each week to achieve your best year ever. If you're not willing to do that, this course is not for you. Second, It's not for people who want to avoid doing the work. So just like I can't build muscle by asking my trainer to lift all the weights for me, I can't do the work for you here either. I can give you the frameworks. I can give you the strategies. I can give you tips to accelerate your progress, but ultimately, you've got to apply it. You have to be willing to take the necessary steps and build the right habits to enjoy real change. And then finally, it's not for people who are only interested in one-dimensional success. I mean, I get it. Winning at your career feels great. But that's going to only happen when you focus on the other life domains as well. I've learned this the hard way. Everything is connected. If you don't take care of your mind and body, at some point, failing health will probably derail your career. And the same could be said of your marriage, your kids, or the other life domains. But if you're willing to invest the time, do the work, commit to multidimensional success, then this course is your key to making 2022 your best year ever. So, I know you're wondering, what's the investment? So let's talk about this in two pieces. The first investment is time. You're going to need to invest your time into this framework to get results, but as I mentioned a few moments ago, the course has been streamlined to deliver maximum results in minimal time and with the least amount of effort. How much time does it take? Well, working through the course takes about 5 hours on your own. Now, you could do that in a single afternoon or a morning, or you could spread it out like I originally did it by doing it 1 hour each day for 5 days. Or if you want to knock it out and make sure that you get it done, you can join me for our live one-day virtual event. Now, in addition to that, to get the best results, you're going to need to invest 10 to 15 minutes a week to review your goals and then plan your next actions. I mean, it's not much of an investment, right? And then you're going to need to spend about a minute a day, literally 60 seconds, scanning your goals to keep them top of mind. I know this is not much time, but you're going to need to be consistent to get your desired results. The second investment, got time, now financial. And the amount depends on which of the three packages is right for you. So package number one, your best year ever course on demand. And this is for people who want a no-frills way to work on their goal setting on their own. Now, there is a 2022 edition of your best year ever, and this is it. Brand new, completely reshot, new research, brand new workbook. This on-demand course is our most economical way to get your goals created and ready to rock and roll in 2022. And it comes with access to your best year ever for the entire year, 12 full months, a new digital workbook. You're going to love this. And you're covered by my 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you decide your best year ever, for whatever reason, isn't right for you, simply let us know. We'll issue a refund right away. No questions asked, no hassle. You got my word on it. Now, the investment for your best year ever on demand is normally $297. But for a limited time, and this is kind of the end of this early promotion, it's really limited, you can get on demand at a $100 discount and pay just $197. All you got to do is go to bestyearever.me/act to take advantage of this price. But get this, listen to me, before midnight tonight. So I've been doing training and webinars for the last week. This is the last day of this kind of early bird offer. So you've got to take advantage before midnight tonight. And by the way, that's Pacific time, just so you know, Pacific time US, to take advantage of this special price. Okay, so that leads us to package number two, what we call all access. If you want the goal setting magic of your best year ever, plus the energy and accelerated implementation that comes from our live virtual event, your best year ever live, the all access package might be just what you're looking for. Because with all access, you're going to be getting the best year ever course for an entire year. You're going to be getting, just like the on-demand course, the digital workbook. You're going to also get, and this is what's different, a ticket to your best year ever live, which is a one-day virtual event, and it's taking place live. Did I mention it's live? On December the 30th. And this is incredibly valuable if you want personal instruction and accelerated implementation. So here's the deal. Every year, we gather our staff together to go through the entire best year ever framework to help you map out your next year's goals in a single day. It's a high-energy virtual event where you'll get additional lessons beyond the basic course and new insights to help you succeed in 2022 and the time to actually do the exercises. Now, I'm going to be personally teaching these sessions along with my daughter and the CEO of our company, Megan Hyatt Miller. You're going to leave this event with your written set of 2022 goals and a plan in place so you can hit the ground running, okay? And if you need to revisit any of the lessons, you're also going to get replay access for 14 days following the event. You'll still have the basic course, but for the live event, for those videos, you'll get access for 14 days following the event. You're also getting access to our private Your Best Year Ever Facebook group. We consider this a $997 value. So look, accountability and camaraderie, two of the most significant factors that contribute to massive success in goal achievement. And in this group, you're going to have immediate access to a thriving tribe of like-minded achievers who are after big things in 2022. Members of the Facebook group also get direct access to our team, ensuring that you get accurate answers to your most burning questions and struggles. You're also going to get monthly coaching videos from the Focus on This podcast hosts who are part of our company to help you stay motivated and on track all year. Every month, you're going to receive a new video to help you break through the specific obstacles that we know, having taken almost 50,000 people through the course, the obstacles that you likely will encounter in that specific month. Why? So you have year-long goal achievement. You're going to learn to overcome challenges like the messy middle, more detail than I presented tonight, what to do with goals that aren't exciting anymore, and how to tackle those complex goals. You're also going to get quarterly live stream check-ins with the Full Focus team to review the previous quarter, determine what's working and what isn't, create a path for the quarter ahead, and get advice from our team. So if you want to fast track your results, and if you want to learn alongside other highly motivated achievers, you're going to find this group incredibly valuable. And just like the on-demand program, you're going to have, it's covered by my 30-day money-back guarantee. So you're going to have absolutely no risk. Now, normally, your investment, and after midnight tonight, this is what it's going to be, your investment for your Best Year Ever All Access is $447. But until midnight tonight, December the 16th, and I got to say that for the people that are going to watch this in replay, you can get it for $100 off and pay just $347. Again, all you got to do is go to bestyearever.me/act to take advantage of this limited time offer while it's available. Okay, this brings us to the mother load, the third package, package number 3, VIP access. Guys, I am pumped to tell you about this one. This is truly the ultimate way to experience the course. It's loaded with value, and it's for those who want to take advantage of every opportunity to achieve their biggest goals and give themselves every advantage of actually achieving their goals. So you're going to get VIP access that includes entry to your Best Year Ever online course for the entire year, just like the previous 2 programs. You're going to get your Best Year Ever digital workbook, a ticket to Best Year Ever Live, access to the live recordings until January the 31st, 2022, 30 full days, which is perfect if you need to revisit any of the lessons or didn't get a chance to stay for the whole day. Plus, you're getting access to our private Facebook group, which I described earlier. Now, if you want goal-setting ideas that are tailored to the season of life you're in, look at the bonus that's on your screen right now. You're going to love it. It's called Goal Setting for Every Stage of Life. It's a $197 value. And we filmed this, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And it's a fantastic resource that addresses goal achievement at various stages of life. So whether you're single or married or have children or an empty nester, each stage has its own challenges and opportunities. And this bonus training gets into all that. Okay, in addition to that, you're also getting a VIP box delivered to your door. This is a physical box. $245 value. And the reason we're doing this is since we won't be together in the same room, we're sending you a special box that's bursting with exclusive, valuable, and fun gifts to make your Best Year Ever Live an unforgettable experience. However, and you got to listen up, this bonus is limited. I checked with our team right before we started this training. We've got less than 100 boxes left. And when they're gone, they're gone. And it's only available to those who live in the US. Sorry, but the shipping makes it prohibitive to ship outside the US. Now, if we run out, or if you live outside the US, fear not, we'll send you a special virtual box, okay? Then you're going to get an exclusive Q&A with me. So following your Best Year Ever Live, I'm going to hold a group Q&A session that's exclusive to VIPs. This is an opportunity for you to get advice for your unique situation. You're also going to get to be a fly on the wall and listen in as I answer questions from your peers. And guys, this is solid gold because I'll likely answer questions that you never considered. And this is where real transformation can happen for you. And it's included with VIP access. Okay, now I want to tell you about a bonus that we literally just added today. And by the way, if you've already bought your Best Year Ever at this level, the VIP level, you're going to get this automatically. But this is only available, actually, I think this is available at the All Access and at the VIP level. I'll do a chart here in a second and we'll make sure, okay? So here's what it is. An exclusive live Q&A with Gail and me. And again, we literally just added this bonus today. This is going to be a special live session where Gail and I are going to talk about setting goals as a couple, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we're going to share some tips on how to navigate this so you can help and support one another. And then we're going to take your questions live. And honestly, I have no idea what this is worth. This is our first time to do it. It might be our last. So this is your chance to get Gail's wisdom and insight into the process. And I'll tell you a little secret. It's going to be especially helpful if you're married to someone who is reluctant to set goals. And Gail was that person, and she's going to share with you what it took to get her over the hump. So if you have a reluctant spouse, you're going to find this enormously helpful. And just like the rest of the packages, with VIP access, you're going to be covered by my 30-day money-back guarantee so that you've got absolutely zero risk. And this means you've got 30 days to review the program. And if you determine it's not right for you for whatever reason, we'll instantly refund your money. So access to the VIP group plus the bonuses alone are valued at $1,438.94, not counting the bonus that we threw in this afternoon. And your investment to get VIP access to your Best Year Ever would be $597. But again, until midnight tonight, December the 16th, you can get it for just $497. So that's a $100 savings. And so if you want the fastest implementation, if you want personal guidance, all these additional bonuses, and access to me, and more importantly, Gail, via the live Q&A, this is the package you want. All you got to do is go to bestyearever.me/act to take advantage of this limited time offer while it's still available. Okay. I want to review this for you so that you can see all three options on the screen at one time. Okay, so check out the chart that's on the screen in front of you. And as you can see, we've got three packages. On demand is the least expensive option. You get access to the course for the entire year, the digital course book, and my no-risk money-back guarantee. That's it. It's the no-frills option that gets you the basics, and every level gets those components. Then there's All Access. This is the middle option. In addition to everything listed in On Demand, you get one seat for the live stream, access to the recordings from the event for 14 days, access to the private Facebook group, and access to the Hyatt Tell-All with Gail, where you'll have the chance to hear from her and me and ask your questions about goal achievement. Finally, there's VIP access. So this is the option on the far right. You're going to get everything listed in On Demand and All Access. However, you'll also get access to the live recordings, not for 14 days, but for 30 days. In addition, you'll get a collection of really awesome bonuses, including goal setting for every stage of life, the VIP box delivered to your door, and the exclusive Q&A with me. And again, if you order before midnight tonight, December the 16th, you'll qualify for a $100 discount on each package, regardless of what you choose. So again, whether you want just the basics or you're ready to go all in and give yourself the best chance of success, we've got the program for you. And that's not all. I got one more thing. When you sign up for your best year ever today for any of the packages, you're also getting a special bonus video course, and it's called Leveraging Habits for Achievement. That's a $97 value all on its own. It's one of the most powerful bonuses that we've ever offered to help you with your most important goals. Habits rock. And this video course gets into the nitty-gritty of how to leverage habits to make steady progress on your goals, kind of almost on autopilot. And unlike the PDF that you got today for just showing up, this is a full video mini course delivered on our educational platform, Teachable. And it goes beyond showing you how to leverage habits to reach your goals. It digs into creative ways that you can decide which habits will serve you, how to create them, and how to make them stick. And you're going to discover how to create habits that last and that actually fuel your achievements. It's really an exciting bonus. And after we filmed this last month, when I saw the end result, I was reviewing the footage, I knew we had to figure out a way to get this into people's hands. So I'm thrilled we're offering it as part of your best year ever. And it's yours free when you purchase any of the best year ever packages, any of the 3, before the end of this special training. Now, if you wait until we're done, this bonus is going to be gone. So head over to bestyearever.me/act now, pick your package, sign up to claim your copy of this bonus. Okay, we're almost done. So maybe you're wondering which package is right for me. I want you to imagine for a moment, and this is how I think about it, you're on a road trip. If you're the kind of person who can confidently stay the course once you've got a roadmap, then the on-demand option may be all you need, and that's fine. It'll get you there. However, if you're the kind of person who prefers having the benefit of a guide or a GPS system, like me, keeping you on track during your whole journey, then the all-access or the VIP access options are a much better choice. But whichever edition you choose, you're going to reach the end of 2022 with an unprecedented sense of success and accomplishment because you've truly had your best year ever. Now, maybe you're wondering, is there some kind of incentive to sign up now? I mean, if all this sounds good, but you'd like to take some time to think about it, no problem. I get it. I don't want you to feel any pressure. So take all the time you need. But I could think, as I was preparing for this, of at least 3 reasons why you should take action now rather than later. First, the opportunity to register for VIP access ends tonight at midnight, December the 16th. Why? Well, we've all heard about the supply chain issues, Amazon packages arriving too late for the holidays, all the other supply chain issues. Well, since VIP buyers get a physical box that's loaded with gifts and materials to enhance the online experience, that's the latest that we can accept orders and still be confident that each package is delivered before the live event on December the 30th. So that's the first reason. Second, the reduced pricing on all the packages ends tonight, December the 16th at midnight. And you got a 30-day refund policy, so why not pull the trigger now? I want you to hit the ground running on January the 1st. I don't want you to risk entering 2022 without a plan to make your best year ever. I don't want you to drift through next year and end up at the same destination you're going to end up this year. That's why I'm offering you a financial incentive to get started now. And of course, the bonus video course, Leveraging Habits for Achievement. This course was recorded by the popular Focus on This podcast team, and it really gets into some creative ways to use habits to achieve. And this bonus course is only available for those who buy during this special training, before I finish the Q&A, which we've still got to go. Third, and this is a really important concept to learn, I don't want you to fall prey to the law of diminishing intent. What is that? Well, this is a concept that I learned from Jim Rohn, and it goes like this. The longer you wait to take action, the less likely you are to take action. I mean, that makes sense, right? I'd hate for you to delay your decision, get distracted, like all of us are prone to do, and then miss the opportunity to take back your future. There's just too much at stake to miss this opportunity. Okay, we're almost done. So today we reviewed 7 steps to the life you want and how you can become your best in 2022. So to recap, the the steps are, number 1, clarify your priorities. Step number 2, write smarter goals. Step number 3, embrace discomfort. Step number 4, identify your why. Step number 5, narrow your focus. Step number 6, determine next steps. Step number 7, track your progress. But now I'm going to let you in on a secret, 8th step, to get you the help you need to win with your goals. And it's simply that. Get help. I don't know why we feel the need to go it alone in our goals. I mean, if you think about it, a goal represents new ground, new territory, which by necessity means you don't know how to do it, right? And sometimes all we need to overcome the resistance or the obstacles or the challenges we face is a helping hand. And as we talked about, your best year ever equips you to become your best and can be the difference maker that makes 2022 the year you achieve your most important goals. So if you're ready to get started, again, I want to invite you to go to bestyearever.me/act. Now, before the discount, bonuses, and access to your Best Year Ever Live disappears. Look, I want you to believe in yourself enough to make this investment in your future and get the help you need to win big in 2022. And remember, with my 30-day money-back guarantee, there's no risk for buying now. I certainly believe in you. I believe you can really have your best year ever in 2022. We've helped thousands of people do just that. And I would be honored to help you make it happen. So again, head on over to bestyearever.me/act to join us now. Now, one more thing. Before we get to the Q&A, I promised you that if you stuck around to the end, I'd give you a completed copy of the webinar workbook, right? Well, you can download that right now at bestyearever.me/work. bestyearever.me/work. Go ahead and write that down somewhere. You don't have to download it right now, but it's easy peasy. Just click on the link and you'll be there. Go ahead and write it down. I don't want you to miss it. Okay, and with that, is that better? You got sound now? Are we good? Yeah. Somehow I hit my mute button. It happens. Okay, I got lots of people telling me I'm muted, but hopefully it's working out. Yes, great. Gail says it's working. All right, Amber says we're good. David says we're good. Okay, great. Sorry about that. That's a little bit disconcerting, I'm sure. Okay, here's a question from Kevin Moore. He said, how important is it to invite someone along with you on the goal-setting journey? Kevin, brilliant question. More important than you think. Yeah. Accountability and camaraderie are fantastic. That's why we offer the private Facebook group for the All Access and the VIP program levels, because we know that that kind of accountability will serve you well. You need a place where you can go with other like-minded people, and you can share without fear of condemnation, without fear of judgment, with people who are there to resource you, to encourage you, to give you honest feedback and help you succeed. So absolutely, it's totally important. Okay, and again, I just want to say that leveraging your habits mini course goes away at the end of this Q&A, so you've got to order before then to get it. Place before this webinar ends to get that. Okay, Bertha said, with so many important goals, how do we choose the most 2 to 3 goals? Okay, so here's what I would suggest, Bertha. And by the way, 2 to 3 just for the first quarter. So you can do 8 for the whole year. I wouldn't set more than 8 for the whole year, but as you cross them off, you can add additional ones. But what I would do is I would take an inventory of my life, and I would just ask myself the question using those 3 circles that I gave you. You know, how am I doing spiritually? What about intellectually, emotionally, physically? How's my marriage if I'm married? How's my relationship with my kids? How are my finances? Just do an inventory, an honest self-assessment, and say, okay, can't do everything. What needs the most work this year? What needs the most work this year? Judy, I see you asking for address for the workbook. I think it was bestyearever.me/work, and that'll get you the filled in workbook. Okay, E. Wallskill said, I wasn't clear what was in the VIP box. Okay, do you guys want me to show you? I think I'm going to show you. I've got my iPhone here. Kevin, somebody's going to get you that link here in a second. I'm going to show you what's in the box because I got it over here. So hang tight. Here we go. Okay. So yeah, so there's my monitor where I'm watching you guys. And this is my iPhone. It's a little bit jerky. But here's the box. And I'm going to show you some of the things that are in it. Can you still hear me? I'm kind of away from my microphone, so you may not hear me as well. But let me walk through some of these. First of all, these are bookmarks. Whoops, upside down. Bookmarks for your full focus planner, which we're going to keep your goals visible all year long. These fit right into your planner, and it makes it super easy to keep your goals visible. And remember, I said that's super important. By the way, I'm just going to throw this stuff on the ground here. This is the course book. This is without question the absolute best course book that we've ever produced. Room to take notes, plenty of content, sidebars, exercises, a ton of content. This is the best workbook we've ever produced. Let me just throw it in the pile there. These are pretty cool. These are like Post-it notes, but they're your daily big three. And so you can put those on your computer, on your refrigerator, wherever, so that you don't lose focus. For those of you that use the Full Focus Planner, you've already got that nailed, okay? Then we've got quote cards. So there's a bunch of these. You can keep them on your desk, flip through them for motivation. I'm kind of having a hard time doing this one-handed, but you can just see some of these. But they're great, inspiring cards to keep you motivated. Okay, this is one of my favorite things. I'm about to get to it. This is a refrigerator magnet. So this is where you can write your goals, and this will stick, I promise you, right on your refrigerator. Again, this is the strategy of keeping those goals visible. You're going to get a copy, if you've never used it before, of the Full Focus Planner. Okay? You're going to get a copy of our newest book, No Fail Habits. Okay? You're going to get this manifesto, and this is kind of rolled up, so I can't make it too flat. But basically, it's a manifesto where you commit to dreaming, taking action, taking risks, and so forth. And there's a place for you down here to date and sign it. And I would recommend framing that so that you can remind yourself of the commitment that you've made. Let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah, last thing. This is an H2Go thermos. This isn't some cheap, knockoff thermos. This is a high quality thermos with your best year ever so that you can keep it on your desk and be reminded of your goals all year long. Okay, if that was helpful, let me know in the chat, and I'll just go back here to my smiling face. If that was helpful, let me know. Okay, great. Good. Okay, Bill Johnson said, a couple years ago, I remember learning about having a push goal that makes some of the other goals flow more easily. Is that still a format you recommend? Yeah, actually I do, but I didn't come up with it. So I learned about push goals from Chalene Johnson, who's a good friend of mine, and who came up with this idea. And the idea of the push goal is that, is there one goal that if you could accomplish would make the achievement of every other goal easier? Okay? So that's the whole idea behind a push goal. It's almost like a domino. By the way, I'm just watching the comments here. Yeah, George said, just got it. Let's crush it. Excellent. Fantastic. Cynthia said, helpful and beautiful. I'm assuming that she's referring to the box. Okay. So a push goal, I do recommend it. I'm getting a little ADD here, but yes, I would recommend the push goal. Okay. Shannon says, I've signed up for the Full Focus Pro certified program. Would that entail much of this goal setting course, or are they separate enough to warrant signing up for this? Shannon, I mean, first of all, I'm not objective. Okay. I'm just being honest with you. Of all the things that we do, and this is like my daughters, right? You say, okay, which one's your favorite? Well, whichever one I'm with, right? I love Your Best Year Ever. We've had it for about 8 years. We've seen enormous transformative results. And I think as a Full Focus Planner certified pro, this would really serve you well in terms of serving your clients, because it goes much deeper than we did. I don't know if you were in the training last Friday or a week ago Saturday, but we go much deeper in the course than we had time to go, even with the certified pros. And in fact, a lot of the pros have been through it. Okay. A. Slocum said, which of your guitars do you throw into the box? Yeah, you can't have my guitars, but yeah, those guitars are important to me. Tom said, what are your thoughts on how to tap into getting truly excited about your goals versus what you feel you have to achieve? Yeah, okay, so here's the thing, Tom. I don't believe in kind of ginning up artificial excitement. And you know when you're doing that, right? But here's a little hack I'm going to tell you. Sometimes the process for achieving the goal is not very exciting. So I'll give you an example. 20 years ago, I thought, I have got to get in shape. And I was out of shape. My health had taken a toll. I was working all the time. Only one problem, I didn't like going to the gym. And to be honest, I still don't like going to the gym. But I'll tell you what I do like. I do like the endorphin hit after I've been to the gym or been out for a run. I do like how I feel. I like how I look. I like the energy that I have. And so I get excited about the result, even if I can't get excited about the process. So I would just recommend that you focus on the end result. What will achieving that goal make possible for your life? That's the question to answer. What will achieving that goal make possible for the rest of your life? Okay, Kevin, you're getting 2 here. What are some of the best practices of self-talk? That's a great question. And I've actually done quite a lot of work on this. And Megan and I have written a brand new book called It's All in Your Head, but it's not going to come out for over a year. It's written, the publisher's got it, it's good to go, but that's just how publishing works. So they've had to have it a year in advance. But basically, I'll give you the really short cliff notes of the cliff notes. First thing you got to do is you have to become aware that there is this inner narrator. That's the term we use, an inner narrator, somebody that is interpreting for you what you experience. And there's a fundamental difference between what you experience and how you interpret, or what you interpret that experience means. And the interpreter is just chattering all the time in the back of your head, telling you what it means. And that interpreter has all kinds of limiting beliefs, all kinds of things that won't serve you, all kinds of things that will keep you stuck if you let it. So that's number one, is take notice. And then I would write down, what is that narrator saying? Right? So you got to become aware. What is the narrator saying? Then, and this is a really short answer to a very important question, and one that I could go into more detail, but then you got to kind of reprogram your self-talk, and you've got to create a script for yourself so that you can begin to think differently. Now, I'm just going to tell you a little hack that I use. I use an app called Think Up. Think Up. I don't know if it's available for Android, but it's definitely available on iOS devices. And what it allows you to do is to record some affirmations. I don't think of affirmations as kind of woo-woo, self-talk about all this crazy stuff that you're going to get if you just repeat the affirmation. No, but it's a way to reprogram your brain. And that's what affirmations do. And you can record them in your own voice, and then it will allow you to play those back over a music bed of your choosing so that you can listen to it, for example, for 10 minutes before you go to bed, and slowly, incrementally, over time, reprogram your thinking. And I've done that for myself, and it's amazing. Okay. Carrie, can we have one big, hairy, audacious goal and then have mini goals? Carrie, it's your life. You can do whatever you want, but I don't recommend that approach. I think that I'd rather have a specific but small set of balanced goals that address the various areas of my life. But try it. I mean, you can experiment. It might work for you, but I've never gotten that system to work for me. Ken Anima says, Michael said the goals are beyond the daily affairs of life. Should I not be using goals to do my daily work? Yeah. Okay. So here's the difference. Every goal is a project, but not every project rises to the level of a goal. And here's how I distinguish the two. So there's a book called The 4 Disciplines of Execution, and I borrow this language from that book. So they talk about the whirlwind of your life. That's all the stuff that you have to do on a day-to-day basis just to maintain the status quo. You know, you got to take the kids to school. You got to make their lunches. You got to do their homework with them. You got to go to work. You got to do that, the TPS report for the boss. You've got to go to the gym. You got to do that function at church or wherever. So you got all that stuff that's just the whirlwind of your life that keeps you busy, right? You're going to have a lot of projects related to the status quo, to business as usual, to the whirlwind. But those aren't, at least in my system, by definition, a goal. In my system, by definition, a goal is something that lies outside the whirlwind of what's present now. By definition, it's something that hasn't yet happened. And so we've got to be particularly careful not to try to do too much. That's why I limit it to 8 goals, because, just the whirlwind of your life is taking up like 90% of your time. For some of you, it's taking 110, 120% of your time, right? That's why you're overworked. That's why you're spending too much time at work. So you got to dial that back, and you got to focus on less in order to achieve more. I want to say that again because it's a key principle that undergirds all of my goal achievement, all my productivity, thinking and systems and writing. And that is, you can achieve more by doing less. What everybody else would tell you is that you achieve more by doing more. How do you get more done? You cram more into your day. You get more efficient. No. How you get more done is doing the right things. Not more things, the right things. Dennis. Why choose 8 goals if you're only going to work on 2 to 3 per quarter? Why not just choose 2 to 3 goals each quarter? The reason why, Dennis, from my perspective, is I like an annual view. I like what the year's going to look like. Yeah, it's true that I probably will revise some of them as the year goes on, but I like to kind of have the table set so that I know what I'm out to accomplish. And I ask myself this question, and you'll go through this question in the course. What would make 2022 your best year ever? If you got to December the 31st and you're looking back over 2022, I'm talking about December the 31st, a little more than a year from now. If you were December the 31st, 2022, and you're looking back over the past year, what would have had to be true to make it your best year ever? What would have had to happen in your health, in your most significant relationships, your career or your business, your hobbies, your friendships? What would have to be true? I like looking at the whole year. Scott Adams, Dilbert recommends focusing on habits versus goals. How does that relate to your types of goals? Well, first of all, I love the work that Scott has done there, and I think he's absolutely right. And I prefer a habit goal over achievement goal if I had to choose. But not everything can be framed as a habit goal. There are just some things that are kind of one and done by nature, and that's the definition of an achievement goal. It has a deadline and a point in time when you can cross it off. Whereas a habit goal is usually something, a behavior that you want to install in your life and keep doing it forever, right? So if I develop a reading habit, I want to read every day forever. It's not a one and done kind of thing. I could frame that as an achievement goal. Like I could say, I want to achieve, or I want to read 24 books this year by December the 31st. That would be an achievement goal. Or I could say, I want to read 1,000 words a day, every day, Monday through Friday. And I want to start in January. Okay, so that's a habit goal. The cool thing about habit goals, though, is at some point you shift over and you get on automatic pilot. Like I literally never think that I need to floss my teeth. Why? Because it's automatic. I promise you, I never miss. I never miss. I can't remember the last time I missed flossing my teeth because it's on autopilot. It's like I can't not do it. So that's the value of a habit, and Scott's done some good work there. Okay, another question for Kevin. What steps do you take when you get in the messy middle and get off track? Okay, Kevin, we do a whole module in the private Facebook group, which you join all access or VIP access, you will get access to that module. We will also talk about it at the live event. But essentially it's this: you got to reconnect with your why. And I'll give you a story. So back when I was running, I think it was my second half marathon, I had gotten myself injured before I ran it. And so by the time I got to about the 9th mile, I was really in some pain and I wanted to quit. And my brain started, doing all this typical stuff that your brain does when you want to quit. It was like, wouldn't it be wiser to quit and, be easy on yourself, be kind to yourself, just quit. It doesn't really matter. And I thought, doggone it, I've been training for this and I want to finish. And oh, by the way, and this is the thing that I reconnected with that got me over the hump. We were running to support New Hope Academy, which is a local school in my neck of the woods that's really focused on racial reconciliation and some other really cool stuff. And so I had raised sponsorships so that for every mile, and if I finished, then I was going to give a certain amount of money to the school. And it was going to be matched by the people that sponsored me. And so if I quit, it meant that the school wasn't going to get as much money as they otherwise could. And I couldn't abide that. So I just said, I have got to finish this. So I was able to dig deep, reconnect with that why, and finish the race. And no, I didn't injure myself further, and everything was fine. And I felt great, and I was so glad that I did it. Okay, Rick says, my interests are so different. How do I figure on which to pursue when they really don't build off each other for income producing? Yeah, well, let me just tell you something, Rick. You don't want all income producing activities. Maybe I don't understand your question here. Maybe you're saying that your income producing interests are so divergent that you can't put them together. Well, here's the thing. You got to pick one. If you're going to pursue a career or you're going to pursue a business, I would really encourage you to narrow it down to one. Now, if that doesn't work, you can pivot and go to another one. But remember, again, that ancient Chinese proverb, the one that says that man who chases two rabbits catches neither. Okay, I just want to remind you that leveraging habits for achievement bonus is going away in about 5 minutes because I'm going to take a few more questions and then I'm going to wrap it up, and then wrap it up, and then it's going to be done. Okay, and so that's when that bonus is going away. You don't want to miss it. It's a $97 value. So click and go over there to bestyouever.me/act. Aretha said, these are my last two questions. Aretha said, I kept procrastinating and I'm not able to continue even when I've written down my goals. What would you recommend that I do? Aretha, this is one of the places where a good accountability partner can make all the difference. There's this verse in the Bible in the book of Ecclesiastes that I love. It's in Ecclesiastes 4, 9, and 10. And it says, two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. For if either of them falls, the one will lift up his fellow, but woe to the one who falls when there's not another one around. Two are better than one. Find somebody who is for you, who wants to help you, who is willing to hold you accountable, but not rub your nose on it when you fall down. Get an accountability partner. Most of the important things I've done in life have been because I had an accountability partner, somebody that was in it with me. I discovered this back when I was in college and studying Greek, of all things. I got an accountability partner. And Mark and I called each other in the morning, believe it or not, at 5 a.m. in the morning, and we'd ask each other this question, are you studying your Greek right now? And if the answer was no, we said, you better get to it. And we did. And I knew I had that accountability. I was going to get that phone call from Mark, and I better be on it because I didn't want to disappoint Mark, and Mark didn't want to disappoint me. And we made it through Greek doing that together. Steve, last question. Again, guys, the leveraging your bonus for achievement bonus is going away. It's a $97 value, but it's going away when I wrap up here in just a second. Steve said, how do you shift your mindset to accomplish your goals? I think the biggest thing, Steve, is self-awareness. And most people, frankly, are not very self-aware. But ask yourself the question, what are the thoughts that I think that serve me? And what are the thoughts that I think that don't serve me? And then be intentional about the thoughts. You really can control your thoughts. It's not easy at first because you're essentially rewiring your brain. That's what Megan's book, the book that Megan and I wrote, is all about, is rewiring your brain. So you've got these grooves that come from repeated habit, these neural connectors inside of your brain that have to be literally rewired. So you have to be very deliberate, very intentional at first, but it starts by becoming self-aware and asking yourself the question, what's no longer serving me? How is that complaining serving me? How is the negativity serving me? How is gossip serving me? How is me, continuing to fuel self-doubt by ruminating on the mistakes and failures of my past? How is that undercutting my success going forward? So become self-aware, and then just like I was mentioning earlier, re-engineer those thoughts. Write down the thoughts that you want to have, and use some kind of methodology for making sure that you're reviewing those thoughts on a regular basis so that you can rewire your brain and shift your mindset. And there's some great books out there too. Okay, guys, I want to just give you a few final thoughts before I go. So again, I don't know what kind of year you've had. I can tell you that I've got about 600 coaching clients. I don't personally, but we do in our firm. And I've talked to a lot of them, a couple hundred of them myself, because I just went through a series of all-day coaching intensives with various cohorts. And I was asking them this question. And I would say to a person, most people have felt a sense of malaise, a definable drop in energy, a sense of aimlessness, a sense of drifting, a sense of just being rudderless, and not able to really change that. They feel like they're drifting, right? And I can totally relate to that because after I had COVID in September, I felt that myself for several weeks. It's just kind of in the air. But here's the problem. If you continue to drift, no one, and listen to me carefully, no one ever drifted to a destination they would have chosen. You just don't. You drift to things like a health crisis, or suddenly your spouse announcing to you that they're leaving you for somebody else, or your kids, getting the call from the school that your kids have, had some tragedy or gone off the rails or done something. That's what happens when you drift. Or getting let go from your job and not even knowing why, didn't see it coming. Or seeing your business begin to decline. That all happens when you drift. And there's only one antidote to it that I found. And that's to design the future. And what your best year ever does is gives you the opportunity to design your future. To stop drifting, start designing. Now, does that mean that everything you design is going to come to pass? No. President Dwight Eisenhower once said, plans are worthless, but planning is everything. And what did he mean by that? Well, Mike Tyson said it a little more colorfully. He said everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. So yes, life's going to happen. There are pandemics, lockdowns, inflation, things we can't anticipate. But when you have a plan, you're more likely to succeed. It's easier to course correct. Why? Because you're in motion. You can't steer a parked car. But when you've got a rudder, if you're heading somewhere, it's easy to adjust, to change the trajectory, and to get back on track. So when astronauts go to the moon, and maybe you've heard this before, that they're off course over 90% of the time. How do they make a precision landing on the moon when they're off course 90% of the time? They make slight adjustments all along the way to get themselves back on course. And you can do that if you have a plan, if you have a flight plan. The question I have for you is, do you have a plan for 2022? Because if you don't, I can promise you this, you're going to end up at the same place you are today. What you've been doing this last year, how you've been living, the thoughts you've been thinking, the words you've been saying, the behaviors you've been exhibiting, the actions you've taken, are the perfect recipe for the results you have right now. But if you want different results, you got to change the recipe. And your best year ever will help you to do just that. So I'd like to leave you with this question. It's the top of the hour. I want to finish. And it's this. If not now, when? I mean, you saw that chart that I had of 90 years. If not now, when? Life is short. It's but a vapor. Let me encourage you. Go to bestyearever.me/act. Buy the course, whichever one fits for your budget. Make this next year your best year ever. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. There's no risk to you at all. If you get into this, if you have buyer's remorse, you can change your mind. But strike while the iron's hot. Take advantage now. Don't let the law of diminishing intent take over and keep you from getting the life that you want. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. It was an honor to be with you. It's amazing to see your comments and all the participation and all the engagement. I hope that you have an amazing 2022. Merry Christmas. Hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.